very sensitive subject, fetal cell harvesting. Let's talk about it.
Yes, sir. The reason that fetal cells are important is because stem cells from a child have the potentiality to become any cell in your body. So what we don't realize is the world's professionals, if good in their heart, help build a better world. If you take a professional and you make them wicked, they'll build a hell. So our problem is we have literal scientists and psychologists who have humanity's worst interest at hand. And when it comes to these fetal cells, these people want to obtain these fetal cells for whatever it is they're doing in these laboratories or in these private properties within these private companies that they don't want us to know. So when it comes to fetal cells, so that people have a proper understanding, we know that cells become tissues, tissues become organs, organs become organ systems become organisms, and an organism becomes you. So a child is the template of human, existence. So if I want to clone something, or if I want to experiment, or if I want to do research purposes and find a disease, I need a stem cell because I can make this cell become whatever I want, or I can use this cell for whatever I want. And black people are at the butt or the bad end of the stick of a mad scientist somewhere in somebody's laboratory because we have the strongest genes. This is not to be racist. This is not to be negative. This is just to be scientifically factual. We have the most complete strand and sequence of DNA on this planet. Neurologically, black children develop faster than any other child. Neurologically, black children think at a higher pace than any other child. And this is why our particular cellular structure is so sought after. It's just like, jury. You want to wear some jury, you want the best. If you're a scientist and you want to do some crazy experiment in a laboratory that we don't know about, you're going to want the best genetic material to play around with. And so when it comes to Planned Parenthood, things like abortion, we don't realize why this is really being put into effect. These people have convinced us to literally kill our own children so that they can play around with our genetic material in a laboratory somewhere that we don't even know exists. So cellular tissue from a child is the template to transhumanism, cloning, creating hybridized species. And I would like to bring this up. A lot of people don't believe in genetic engineering. I happen to have a historical and a scientific understanding that certain humans who walk around are genetically engineered without me identifying specifically who I'm talking about. And for people who say they don't believe that, the government has admitted that they have what is called a human hybrid pig. Now they tell us they only allowed it to develop to 13 weeks old, which I don't believe to be true because y'all don't tell us anything that's true. So how do we know that you don't have an entire underground city of people that's half human, half pig? And the question is, whose cells did you use to create these hybrids? We already know that Henrietta Lacks, or the HeLa cells, which come from a black woman, have been used to create multiple diseases, including some of the worst chronic diseases we suffer from today. We know for a fact y'all take our DNA, y'all take our cells and create foreign substances which irritate our immune system to the point where our cells fight each other and we kill ourselves from the inside out. So that's already known. But what we're not really pondering is who's at the top of the chain of command. What are y'all really doing with these organs when you get them? Because people are not even dying on the planet at the rate that y'all are intaking people's bodies parts. So we have to realize that, to kill Michael Myers or to kill Jason, you got to be Freddy. You got to be a killer. To realize what's really happening, you got to be intelligent. Only way to hunt a jaguar is to think like a jaguar. That's the only way you can see it coming. The only way that people will really see what we're being subjected to is if they educate themselves to see it. And the average person is afraid of any word that got more than 4 letters in it. So you're not even gonna go into science. You intimidated by big words. So your level of self-encouragement and your level of self-confidence is not even there for you to pursue that lane, let alone get into that lane and be able to use discernment from what is true and what is not true. So when it comes to these stem cells and fetal tissues, people have to realize that abortion is supplying the New World Order, which is transhumanism, eugenics, epigenetics, cloning, cybernetics, nanotechnology, bonding with us, because before they just know something worked, they have to test it. So how do these people know that, nano-sized particles are able to influence blood cells unless they're playing with blood cells? And, when it comes to science, we have to realize that you can tweak the law. Most of these people in Congress, most of these political figures such as Hillary Clinton, they're lawyers. So they know how to finesse a crime just by rewording the definition. For example, the definition of genocide changed. A lot of people don't know that. When a lot of those Indian kids in Canada were murdered and sacrificed by, you can do your research on there. They say Queen Elizabeth was involved in a lot of that, so that they wouldn't be prosecuted for genocide, where they found about 20 to 30,000 child bodies, buried. They just tweaked the definition. So how do we know that these scientists are not cloning people and then experimenting on the people they clone? And they're saying, well, technically you're not a human, so this is not a crime. So we're using nanotechnology on you. We're experimenting on you. We got a couple weirdos down here who like to kill people. We'll let them torture you, and you're not a human. So it's not a crime. How do we know they're not creating sentient robots that even if they're not human, they have nodes? And for people who are experienced in computer science, a node is the digital version of a nerve. And you have soft AI and weak AI. We deal with weak AI. Soft AI, such as the one example they publicly admitted to is Baby X. Baby X has the ability to expand his awareness, think, and develop feelings. So how do we know these people don't have artificially intelligent cyborgs somewhere under the ground that they're torturing and practicing this stuff on? And then once they get the conclusive effect that they want, they introduce it to the public. Who are you experimenting on? Because I don't believe in my mind you still playing with that lab rat.